Oh, how'd you get lightning on this thing? It's so casual. During 15th century Europe, there lived a person named Dracula. Once upon a time. He practiced sorcery in order to create a bad world filled with evil. You don't need sorcery for that, Dracula. He began taking over the continent of Europe, changing countries from good to bad. Again, you don't need sorcery for that. That's just called being England. I mean, really any major power, but yeah. The Belmont family has a long history of fighting evil. A long history of 2 members. Look, there were a lot of in-between Belmonts, but they sucked. We don't talk about them. Oh no, the Belmonts are very strong. Please leave. We're going to ask you very politely to leave the country. We're not going to force the issue because you're very scary with your big strong arms. However, please go. We could not stop Sonia Belmont if we tried. She can turn immortal at the drop of a hat. But, like, could you go, though? This is the softest exiling I've ever heard of. This is Castlevania 3: Dracula's Curse for the NES. I mean, chronologically, it's the 3rd game I've played in the Castlevania series, so hey, it's sort of correct this time. Anyway, this time around, we're playing as Trevor Belmont, and if you're familiar with the animated series, there's gonna be a lot less swearing in this one. Unfortunately, Trevor also loses his cape, which, big disappointment. So anyway, we're in the game now. That weird chandelier thing I picked up is a power-up. It makes your weapon stronger, and if you can find another one, it'll make the whip longer. I also picked up the dagger, which is the most basic sub-weapon. Very cheap. Here's the other chandelier. But all the dagger does is you throw it forward. Pretty simple. Very helpful, but you might prefer something a little more specialized. Sometimes throwing a thing in a straight line isn't the ideal strategy. As always, of course, hearts are your ammunition. If you run out of those, you can't use your sub-weapon, which would be bad. So in terms of visuals, this being an NES game, I bring it up now because I like this background. I think it's very pretty, however, it also makes everything on this screen impossible to parse, so I kept missing those bats on previous takes, as well as chandeliers. I kept missing candles because I just couldn't see candles. It is very pretty though, so look. Hard to work with, but nice. Oh, holy water, definitely want to pick this up. So the holy water sub-weapon is a ground-based sub-weapon. You throw it and it creates a little flame on the ground, which, of course, isn't very useful for things that float or things that move around a lot. But if they're neither of those things, holy water's very useful. It's very good for ground-based bosses, might I add. If something can be injured by hitting its feet, throw holy water at the problem, there's your solution. Also, sometimes it's just nice to have a downward arc. The knife wouldn't have helped me there. Though that being said, I feel like this first stage, while it's a very good warm-up for the most part, their introductions to sub-weapons can be a touch awkward. The holy water is kind of useful in spots here, but in other places, maybe not so much. Like right here, we've got Medusa heads already, which means, I mean, it's not impossible to hit them with the holy water, but it's certainly difficult. Also, don't jump on these platforms unless you want to fall through them, as presented earlier. But yeah, I feel like the holy water would be better later on in the stage. Actually, right here it's not so bad. We've got zombies, so it's pretty good at killing them, but zombies are very easy to kill, so You don't really need a sub-weapon. The axe, on the other hand, is an arcing weapon. You throw it, it's very powerful, but it can be hard to hit with. Oh! That is a cross. That just wipes out all the enemies on screen. It also needs an epilepsy warning. So anyway, though, now we have Fleamen already, which means, hey, yeah, this axe we just picked up is not gonna be super useful, because the whole thing about Fleamen is they jump around and are very annoying. Yeah, that was a whiff. That was, without a doubt, a whiff. Killed him easier with a whip. And Bone Pillars, who aren't terrible because you can just whip their projectiles. Which is good, because even when ducking, Trevor is just too tall to dodge the fireballs on top, so don't even try. Alright, so we got a graveyard here. Somebody took the tops off of some of these graves. A very rude prank. Another epilepsy warning. I mean, I don't need to kill these guys in one hit, but I guess it's a fancy way of going about it. Maybe I do need this for the bats, though. Bats aren't the worst, but they can be a little hard to hit. They're not Fleamen, but they are small. And right here we have our first boss, the old Skull Knight. He's gonna walk back and forth, and if he gets close to you, he's gonna try to take a swing at you. Sometimes he'll also do that even if he's not close, but you might want to back off just to be safe. Anyway, he's dead, so that's the end of the stage. Alright, Castlevania 3 Stage 1. Easy enough. I'm sure they're all going to be this easy, she said knowingly, and lying.